So I can either tell you about Bet Parks or I can show you. Let me just see if there's anything personal on this other than my account balance. I don't think so. So here's my Bet Parks account. There's not much in it, I confess. Like I have 50 large in my account. Do you see the green? The green, it's probably blurry, but the green represents my success last night because I had Philadelphia +2 in Sao Paulo, where Philadelphia was regarded as the home team against Green Bay. I didn't understand when I looked at it why Philadelphia was getting 2. So, yeah, I made money on that. Now, when I flashed my screen, if you said to yourself, Michael, there was also some red on that, that is true. That is true because in the season opener, I had Baltimore visiting Kansas City. You know why I do the air quotes, right? Because I can't say the full team names. I don't know why. So I didn't do well on that. And then the last time that I had wagered via Bet Parks was in the Stanley Cup Finals. So yeah, there's a little red in the account, but last night was a victory, so that's cool. And I love having skin in the game. I love having skin in the game, and I enjoy seeing the NFL playing around the globe. I'll tell you another funny thing. So this is Bet Parks, and you also hear me talk about Play Gun Lake in Michigan because we reach Michiganders. Guess where I will be later today? In Michigan. And so when I'm there, I will make sure I download Play Gun Lake, their sportsbook app, and I'll probably lay some action for tomorrow pro football while I'm in the great state of Michigan. So putting my money where my mouth is, having some skin in the game, the 50-1 odds boost, limited time offer for new customers only, betparks.com, playgunlake.com for terms and conditions. I will be using both of those apps within 24 hours, which is kind of cool. Okay, I want to talk about when will we know, which was what the thumbnail of this conversation said. When will we know? Meaning, when will we know the outcome of the election? But sorry, got my hat on here today. But I want to share something with you. I feel like we're all friends, especially those of you who are here live, especially on a Saturday. Thank you for that. You know that this was the week of the book launch of Smerconish 2024. Thank you. Thousands of you, seriously, 3,000 were watching live when we launched the book a couple of nights ago. Seems like all of you bought books. I appreciate that as well. We've had a very successful launch, so much so that on Monday or Tuesday, I'm going to be announcing a date soon on which we're closing it out. And that'll be it. And I know they're going to be friends and family. Hey, I heard you have a book. Oh, about the book. I couldn't get a book. But you're in the loop. You're watching me. You're in the loop. So I want to share something with you, and then I'll get back to the politics of the day, because I just saw this last night, and I'm just kind of eager to share it with friends. We don't get ratings at SiriusXM. My hunch is the company has data that they don't share. I've seen some geographic subscription data from them in the past, but it's not a world of ratings like that which I was accustomed to in terrestrial radio, AM radio, before coming to SiriusXM. CNN, we get ratings, and I see them on Tuesday when I get off radio. I see them and I study them. The last 3 weeks, by the way, my CNN program has had the highest ratings for the entire day on CNN on Saturdays, frankly, outpaced a lot of the Sunday shows. So we're doing well comparatively. A lot of our kids have cut the cord and cable is struggling. I can't bullshit you, but I see the good and the bad, and I know how to spin it, but I'm just telling it to you straight. So radio data, radio meaning SiriusXM radio data, is harder to come by. So we just had this really interesting experience where several thousand people bought Smerconish 2024. And Bob at Brilliant shared with me where are the sales coming from. So I have in front of me on my other computer the markets where most books are being sold in the country. And by the way, the only place you can go is my website. This is not an Amazon production. You can't go to your favorite bookstore, none of that. It's all through one portal. So, question, quickly for those who are here, I'm just curious, what do you think? I'm going to read a list to you from the strongest market for book sales, in a descending order. So on the screen right now, tell me where do you think the number one market is for book sales? Give me. Thomas DeVerney says Philadelphia. I mean, yeah, that would be a likely one. And Jennifer says Pennsylvania. No, not state, city, or or a metropolitan area. Philly, Texas, Pennsylvania, Texas. Be more specific. Mary Coyle, Pennsylvania. No, where? Philly region, says Jamal. Sean, Mid-Atlantic. Seattle, interesting. Tom Rogers, New York. Okay, Tom Rogers, you would be correct. So the number one, I'll say area, the number one area where book sales are being generated is New York. Number two is Philly. Okay? New York, Derek Devon, you're right. New York, number one, Philly, number two. So now, wipe the slate clean. Everybody stop. Everybody stop. What is the number three market for Smerconish 2024? If New York is number one and Philly is number two, what is number three? Number three. Andrew says Florida. Again, Andrew, no, not so big. Not okay. David Bellamy, you got it. Thomas McCabe, you got it. It's LA. It's LA. After LA, New York, Philly, LA. Number four, somebody said Mar-a-Lago. It's funny. Bob Olivieri, you're right. It's Chicago. Now, this one you're never going to get. And I'm embarrassed to tell you, I had to look it up. I can't explain this. Like, number 6 is Atlanta, and I get that. Number 7 is Phoenix. Number 8 is Denver. Number 9 is San Antonio. Number 10 is Miami. How about this? Number 11 is Toronto. And then Louisville. And then San Jose. And then Vegas, Orlando, Pittsburgh, St. Louis, Colorado Springs. But number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 doesn't make any sense to me. Ashburn. And I thought, when I saw it, I'm like, that has to be Asheville, as in North Carolina. But no, Ashburn, as in Virginia. I haven't looked at a map, but I wonder if that is the DC, if that's like suburban DC. Then it would, right. Julie V says, I love the range. Julie V, can you imagine how I feel? I love the range too. I mean, we're trying to build this national conversation, and we've built it, of people who want to get along, have civil discourse, couple of laughs, remember all that we have in common. Thank you for allowing me to share that. I'm just really excited about it, and it's going so well that we're going to have to shut it down. I mean, I think I'll be announcing this week that October 1, that's it. And the reason is because the printer said to me, hey, I need to know how many I'm printing. And you can't tell me on election day, here's what I need, because I need the supplies in-house, and I've got to be ready to print. In fact, I'm telling you too much. I'll tell you more on radio this week. On television today, let me get back to the thumbnail. When will we know? Al Schmidt is going to be my guest. It's kind of funny because I'm here in Philadelphia and he's going to be through the wall in a neighboring studio. He is a former Philadelphia city commissioner. He was a city commissioner in the 2020 election. Now he serves in Josh Shapiro's administration as Secretary of the Commonwealth. And I'm thrilled to have him. I've had him before because Al is the guy who is going to have to deal with what's to come election day in Pennsylvania. and I've been talking about this on radio, the situation is Pennsylvania does not allow for a pre-canvassing of ballots until 7 a.m. on election day. I think it's one of 6 states that are that way, very limited number. We've moved into a mail-in vote society, even Republicans this year. There's a story in the newsletter today about Republicans warming to mail-in ballots. So in 2020, because of the pandemic and because of the unprecedented numbers, and because Pennsylvania doesn't allow the local election boards to begin not necessarily counting the ballots, but getting them open. You got to open that outside envelope. You've got the secrecy ballot, right? So because Pennsylvania is a little archaic in this area, it took a long time. And the election in 2020 wasn't called until the Saturday thereafter. So here we are with a razor-thin election by all metrics. Razor-thin. Battleground states, they're all toss-ups, like all 7 of them. The national polls show Harris ahead, but only by a couple of points. That doesn't show enough strength to offset the Electoral College advantage enjoyed by Republicans. So the stage is being set where we might not know who the victor is because it all comes down to Pennsylvania, and Pennsylvania doesn't allow the pre-canvassing of ballots, and it could be a shit show. What has me most concerned is 4 years ago, Donald Trump sought to sow discord, dissent, conspiracy in all of that. Do you remember, the cameras in the Pennsylvania Convention Center, a couple of blocks from where I'm located, like, oh, what's going on in there? And what's going on in that stack? And what's going on in that stack? And they're playing games again. I'm very worried that what is just the normal course of counting ballots could be, in a perception scenario, manipulated. And that people might think nefarious things are happening when they are not. And that's what I want to talk to Al Schmidt about. Like, what can we do and what must I do as someone with the privilege of a microphone to try and keep everybody calm if that's the way that it goes? So I'm looking forward to that conversation, and my poll question of the day today asks, to that end, whether we're going to have a peaceful transference of power when this election is over, which I think is now 59 days away. So please make sure that you're voting on today's poll question and watch my conversation with Al Schmidt when we try and learn more about this. What I most want to know is if this is deliberate on the part of the Republican legislature in Pennsylvania, because the county boards of elections have asked, please bring some clarity to a number of questions and allow us to begin the pre-canvassing process sooner. What would be the rationale, the objective of the legislature in not allowing that, other than to deliberately set up this process where doubt can be sown about the election? And maybe they're going to say, well, not maybe. They will say it's a ballot security issue. It's a ballot security, how are we going to protect? What are they going to do? They're going to touch the envelopes. Stuff happens on election day. It always happens on election day. I hope I get the chance to work in my favorite quote. I have it all typed up for me today. My favorite quote about elections in America. David Litt, Democracy in One Book or Less. You've heard it from me before, but indulge me. Imagine hearing the following pitch on Shark Tank. A nationwide mega chain with no corporate headquarters, no CEO. It'll operate 8 times as many U.S. locations as McDonald's, serving twice as many customers despite having about half as many employees. Each location will experience nearly double the daily foot traffic of your average Starbucks. Not only that, but every one of these approximately 116,000 stores will be a pop-up, remaining open for a single day, closing for good at night. And oh, by the way, the more than 900,000 workers will be woefully underpaid. That is Election Day in America. Which is my way of saying that human factors are going to kick in. It's not like we've got this professional infrastructure and it's there and we rely on it twice a year and people vote and we count. It's a volunteer network. It's a bunch of part-timers, and Godspeed to all of them. But don't be surprised for the reasons that David Litt expressed when some stuff happens. I don't mean widespread fraud, but there's always going to be something that screws up. Not enough to manipulate the outcome of an election nationally. So, yeah, I guess I'm sounding a little, sanctimonious? That's not the right word. I have a duty. I have a duty to use my radio and television and social media platforms to say we ought to have a better system. In Pennsylvania, they should have fixed this problem. But everybody calm down. It's going to take a while, and that doesn't mean your vote's being stolen. And by the way, if something happens and your vote is stolen, we'll talk about that too. But just because we might not know that night doesn't mean there are, shenanigans at play. All right, well, that was fun, huh? That was fun. Thank you. Somebody asked about my blue hat. If you know, you know. If you know, you know, okay? Be kind. That's a clue. Be kind. Go vote on Smerconish.com, where we're going to have a peaceful transference of power when this is over. I sure hope so. Okay? See you soon. Thank you for watching. Hey, by the way, can I get some likes? PJ at Creative always tells me, for reasons I don't understand, ask for some likes. Give me a like. Come on, I've been juggling here for 16 minutes and 41 seconds. Like. I'm going to sip my coffee and give you one chance to show me some love, and then I'll say good day. All right, see ya.